Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today is the 16th of May and I'm starting the second part of my reading vlog for this month. I am going on a trip tomorrow, so today is going to be a little bit of a prep day. I will have to do the cleaning around the house so the cat has a nice clean flat while I'm gone, and I also need to start packing a little bit. I will have time tomorrow as well because I'm not leaving till noon, so I think this will still be kind of a chill weekend, but also a lot of like prepping for that trip. I will be traveling with my grandma to Lake Constance, so I'm very excited. I've never been there before, and I have been trying to make a little bit more of an effort to actually go to fun German places as well, because I feel like I don't really travel a lot in my own country. So we'll see how that goes. My grandma always wanted to go, so I gifted that to her so she can go there and see what it's like. But before we get into the travel fun, I wanted to quickly let you know what I'm currently reading, and then we can see how much reading I will get done during that trip as well. I'm actually not quite sure how it's gonna go, but yeah, things are a little bit up in the air. But I'm currently listening to an audiobook called Road to Ruin by Hana. This is a fantasy book that is similar to Mad Max in a way. We do have this world that is a big wasteland, and within this wasteland we have little like cities. They're called Carinas, and within these cities people are safe because of magic. However, not everyone has magic, and there is a little bit of a class difference between the people who do and the people who don't, and also like concerns about, you know, the magic abilities of people slowly fading out in some of the families and all of that. And we have these mage bike couriers who travel between the cities to bring goods to other cities and all of that. Not all of that is completely legal, and our main character of Jin, she used to bring secret love letters from a prince in one of the Carinas to a princess of the other Carinas. However, when we meet her, she is currently on her way from the prince to the princess when she has a little bit of an accident with an animal that is basically a flying dinosaur, and she feels bad about it, so she takes it home with her. It has a broken wing, and then she gets to the princess, and the princess tells her this is going to be the final letter because she is supposed to get married to this random dude that she has never met before. And so she asks our main character Jin if she will help her escape. So basically, Jin now is helping a princess escape, which is like the most illegal thing you can do. And while they are on this journey, they also encounter something in the wasteland that is supposed to be impossible. And I think that is kind of where the story will go off into the wild now. I'm very intrigued. It is a very high-paced story, but it does have a good balance with the character backgrounds and also the world building in the background, so that I feel like I get to know this world and these characters while stuff is going on at a very high pace. So far I'm having a lot of fun with that. And I will probably make quite a dent in this today because I do have the cleaning to do to get ready, and I will be listening to my audiobook while I do that. So I'm currently 20% in, but I hope to get a little bit further today for sure. And then for my eyeball read, I am currently reading Blood Over Bright Haven. I'm also almost 20% into this one. My goal is to get to 25% before I leave for the trip, because this one I'm doing a reading vlog for, and I usually update every 25%. So I would like to do an update before I leave, so then I can read on the bus if I feel well enough. It's always a little bit difficult with me and the buses and reading. We'll see about that. However, I'm struggling with this one a little bit. In this one, we are following a woman called Sayona. The world is eerily similar to Mage Bike. We do have kind of a city that is protected by this magic, and it is very advanced. The magic there is very advanced. They have trains, they have cars, they have everything. But they're surrounded by these wastelands where people basically die and starve. And there are also these terrible storms with lightning that kills people. So it is quite interesting to read these books that are so different, but the setting is kind of the same. So yeah, but we're following Sayona within the city. We don't really see a lot of what's going on outside of it yet. But yeah, she has studied her whole life to be part of this magical university society thing, whatever it is. And women are not usually allowed to go there. There is only like one woman allowed every 10 years to take the test for the entry. And so that's basically her one chance, not only for herself, but for all the women in her generation. And so we meet her when she is about to take this test, and yeah, things go from there. I have this issue that I have a very strong suspicion what is going to happen in this book. I have heard so many reviews about it, so I already know quite a bit of the things that have to happen now. I'm still not at the point where I'm like, okay, now everything that I know for certain has happened, which is kind of frustrating. I really don't like reading books like that. However, I also have a very strong suspicion what kind of the twist of the story will be, so we'll see about that. I'm a bit worried. But yeah, I don't know. I might still like the book, even if it is exactly what I think it will be. We'll just have to see about the how, but I just don't feel so much intrigue to pick it up because of that feeling, if you know what I mean. So that's where I'm at right now, and I will update you once I have more to say. So just a very quick update because I'm about to hop on a train and go on my trip. I have been preparing stuff all morning and I've been listening to more of my audiobook, and I'm having so much fun with this book. I'm not quite sure where I am right now. I haven't checked, but yeah, I'm definitely like almost halfway through now, and it's so much fun. There is so much going on. The one thing I have to say is that we do have kind of a villain POV in this book, and if you have been following my channel for a while, you might know I do not like villain POVs in books. It doesn't work for me. I don't want to hear from the villains. I don't want to know what they're up to, because that always takes the fun and the surprise out of when the heroes actually figure out what the villains are up to. So yeah, I'll try to not think about that too much, but I'm having so much fun, and I'm just gonna say I think our main character is about to ride on a dinosaur, and I am so ready. I'm so hyped and pumped, and this book is so much fun. Then with Blood over Brighthaven, I yesterday made it to the first quarter mark, so I'm now 25% into the book. I have reached the point where everything that I definitely knew would happen has happened, so I'm really hoping that this next little bit will be more intriguing to me as we can dive more into the plot that I haven't heard discussed before. So I'm hopeful that this will be the point when the book can really draw me in, and I'm still kind of intrigued to see whether I'm correct about the magic. So we'll see. But yeah, I have been packing my bags, preparing everything for the cat, cleaning the flat so that the lady that is going to take care of Boozy will not be disgusted while she's here. So I have a last few things to do, and then let's go. So today is the 25th of May. We have a holiday today here, and I am trying to prep for my little trip in June. So I have enough videos to go up. Today is going to be a bit of a filming day, and then I also want to do some admin stuff. So we'll see how it goes, but I have finished 2 books and I think it's time we talk about them. So the first book I finished was Blood Over Bright Haven by Wang. The reading vlog for that will be up in a couple of weeks when you see this vlog. I will upload it while I'm on my vacation next month because I need some videos for that. So yeah, I won't be there to see you all hate me and unsubscribe because unfortunately I did not love this book. I mean, it's mostly a me problem and I can totally see that. Now, the thing is, I don't really love this subgenre of kind of academia fantasy. I wasn't the biggest fan of Babel. I had my issues with that book, even though I can totally see that it's bringing up some like interesting and important topics. I have even more issues with Blood Over Bright Haven, and that is very unexpected for me because I really thought I would like this one more than Babel, but I did actually end up thinking it's even a little bit less good. Oh my god, I'm gonna get so cancelled for this, and I'm so sorry to all of my friends. I just feel like this book, it didn't go anywhere, and I really didn't like the conclusion. Now, the first thing is that I had like very strong suspicions about like kind of like the twist or the reveal or whatever you want to call it of the magic of this. And so, I mean, like it's literally already the title. I was like, okay, I have such an idea what this book is about, and it's like completely that. So around the halfway point, the characters finally catch up and learn some things, and is I think from that point onward, I was like, okay, now I'm ready to go. Like now I don't know what's gonna happen, how the characters will deal and all of that. But it was the opposite. It kept frustrating me more and more the way the main character deals with the whole situation. And I think that, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I had the feeling that Sayona is kind of autistic coded. She isn't really good with people. She's like really into her work and her magic, and she is very, very good at it, but she doesn't have the people skills. And one thing that really irked me about this is the way her family feels towards her and kind of the way they treat her, especially in the end of the book. And it frustrated me a lot because like the whole message was kind of like, yeah, we love you even though you're so weird. And I had such an issue with that whole attitude of the family. Yeah, I see kind of like that she wasn't like the easiest person to be around, but still like if that is your vibe, oh my god, you're not a good person. I'm sorry. And then for the whole plot, it just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, especially in the end, because I feel like none of the problems were actually fixed by what was going on. Our characters were kind of out of this system, I guess, but the system is still there, and I don't know. That was so sad to me in a way. Like what was the point of this? But yeah, I'll go into more detail in my reading vlog, and for all the people who have read the book, I will also do a little bit of a spoiler part at the end where I can talk more explicitly about the things that bothered me. So if you want to do that to yourself, if you love this book, you can watch that vlog when it comes out. Now, the next book that I'm gonna read, and I already started it last night, is The 100 Years War on Palestine by Rashid Khalidi, and I'm very, very interested in this book, not because I think I will technically enjoy this, but because I think I can learn a ton from this. And I already have, like I'm 30 pages in and I feel like I have learned so much already. Now, this is quite an interesting nonfiction book because it is mainly a history book, like it is about the history of Palestine and Israel. However, the author is from a very well-known kind of scholarly family from the region. situation. And so he puts on some perspectives of his family members, interviews, diaries, all of that, to just make it a little bit more, I don't want to say real, but like, feel like this is not just a history book. There's like actual people's lives mixed up in this. And I really like that approach. If you know anything about me, I usually like nonfiction books where we mix kind of more of a memoir, like own experiences kind of situation with actually like science or history, like facts like that. And I think this book is going to do that, and so far I'm really enjoying it, but it is going to be a hard read as well. And then this morning I also finished my audiobook, Road to Ruin by Hana, and this one was so much fun. Like, this book had no business being so much fun. This has very strong Mad Max Fury Road vibes. We have some Indiana Jones vibes, definitely. We do have a little bit of Jurassic Park sprinkled in there because we do have like these creatures that are basically dinosaurs. And yeah, it was really good, really fun. We do have a little bit of a poly situation with our three main characters, which I'm here for. I love that. So yeah, I just really, really liked it. I really liked it. I give it 4 stars. I don't think it's perfect, but it is a ton of fun. So yeah, I really like the ending. There is, a conclusion in a way, but there's also a hook for the sequel. So I decided to go straight into the sequel to just, now I'm in the world, I'm with the characters, and I just want to finish off the duology like that. So yeah, the next book I'm going to read is the sequel. So it is called Flight of the Fallen, and it's very interesting, kind of like the places where our main characters ended up and to see where it goes from here. I really like the way that we explored some of the kind of like secrets or like the lost knowledge about the magic of this world. So I'm definitely intrigued to see how that will play out in the second book now. And then also obviously the character dynamics, because yeah, we do have these 3 characters who all love each other in their way, but because of like circumstances, they're not really together right now. So I'm intrigued to see how they might end up together in the end. So yeah, I'm enjoying this duology a whole lot. I think the whole like wastelands, kind of magic storms, we do have the whole situation with like these different Karinas having very different approaches to refugees, to women, and this cat, I love her. Yeah, it's just very interesting, and I can't wait to see how this will evolve now in the second book of the duology. Now, I couldn't count the audiobook Road to Ruin for Asian Readathon because I had already counted a Korean author. However, I read Blood Over Bright Haven for the prompt for free, which is a main character that balances 2 different identities or is fighting a hidden internal struggle, and I think that totally works for our main character in Blood Over Bright Haven, because on the one hand she's a mage, she is in this like academic elite basically, at the same time she is a woman, so she's not really accepted, and then she has to struggle with the truth that she finds out about this whole institution. So that is the 3rd prompt finished for Asian Readathon. We have 2 more to go, so I better hurry up now. Good morning, everyone. A long time no see. Today is actually the 30th of May. I feel like I haven't updated you in forever. We had an absolute heat wave here, and also things have just been kind of all over the place in a way. I have been applying to jobs, and I also had an interview this week for a job, and yeah, it's all been a little bit much. Also, I'm preparing for my trip at the beginning of June, so I still have a ton of things to do this weekend, and reading just hasn't been a huge priority. Also, the game Paralyze was just released, and I have spent an insane amount of time watching Let's Plays of it, and yeah, maybe I bought it last night. So I'm a little bit scared, but we will just deal with it. However, I do have a tiny little bit of a reading update and just mapping out those last 2 days of the month. Yesterday, I read one of the 2 last books I want to finish this month, and that is The Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra Khaw. This is a tiny novella, around 100 pages, and we follow a mermaid who was forcefully removed from the sea by this prince, and at some point she gets pregnant and she has her daughters, and the daughters basically eat the whole kingdom. So at the start of the book, we see our mermaid, and she is deciding to leave this now dead kingdom and leave her daughters behind to play in the ruins. And she goes on a journey with this plague doctor. The plague doctor is non-binary and also has a secret themselves. So while they are on the journey, they kind of encounter something that has to do with the plague doctor's past, and because they start to develop having feelings for each other, they decide to deal with this past that is now bleeding into the present together. Now, this is a horror novella. It is very brutal. It is a lot of body horror, and it can get quite gross. So if you don't like that, you probably won't enjoy the novella. This author is also known for having very, I don't want to call it like flowery writing. It is almost pretentious writing. Like, there is a lot of words that you probably haven't used in the English language, which I don't mind at all. Like, I don't care if I haven't heard a word before and it's a little bit wacky and out there. I think for this novella format, it works perfectly well. I'm one of the very few people who actually enjoyed Nothing But Black and Teeth by the author, so I knew what I was getting into with the language, and I also think it's not quite as much in this one as it was in Nothing But Black and Teeth. So if that is what kept you from enjoying the book, then you probably can still try this one. I gave it 4 stars. I had a good time with it. I think that it was a little bit rushed, especially the character relationship was not quite explored enough for me personally. In the end, you get a short story that was written 7 years before this novella, but was kind of the base for it. And I almost think it makes more sense to read the short story first and then a novella, because you understand the character dynamic a little bit more. So if you get this edition, maybe start at the back with the short story. But yeah, overall, I thought this was a very nice, brutal, gory evening that I had with this book, and I'm absolutely not mad that I read it. Now, for my actual current read that I really still want to finish this weekend, I have finished the first chapter in the 100 Years' War on Palestine. So that was the chapter that dealt with the time before the Second World War. So before the First World War, during, and then also after. And this was very interesting because I have to admit, there is a lot of things I don't know about this region. When I read Madonna in a Fur Coat earlier this year, that was kind of my first experience reading about the fall of the Ottoman Empire in a way. And this book also deals with that. And I must admit, I never really considered which areas really belonged to the Ottoman Empire during the time when it fell apart. So I didn't really know that Palestine was actually part of that, same as areas like Syria, for example. It was really interesting to get more historical knowledge about that. And then also, obviously, the way that the British treat this area of Palestine and how the whole Zionist movement came about. So it was very interesting to learn more about that because I literally knew nothing about it. And for me personally, I have to admit that too, I always thought about Israel kind of as a consequence of what the Germans did in the Second World War, what the Nazis did. So seeing the journey before that even happened and how much of it was already set into motion because of British politics and British colonialism was super interesting. Another thing the author does really well, I think, is showing some similarities to other British colonies and how the British government acted in them, especially in Ireland and in India, and also some other areas as well, like Zanzibar, for example. So it's very interesting to see those parallels to really understand kind of how systematic the colonialism of Britain was. So I have really enjoyed this first chapter. I definitely want to read the rest of this book now. I'm scared that if I don't finish it before I go on my trip, I will just not finish it because I don't want to take it. So best case scenario, I read 100 pages today and 100 pages tomorrow and I will be done. Worst case scenario, it will bleed into the first days of June, but then I really need to finish it before I go on my trip. So we'll see how that goes. Last update, I'm now halfway through my audiobook, Fall of the something. Why can I never remember that title? Flight of the Fallen. That's the title. So this is the sequel to Road to Ruin, and I am enjoying this sequel quite a bit. It definitely dives deeper into kind of the magic and the social structure of those Karinas. What I'm missing a little bit is the pace of the first book. The first book was definitely very fast paced because we do have this whole mage bike situation where they're racing through this wasteland with the deadly storms, and because right now, like where we start out the book, that isn't really part of the story. It might be a little bit more again now. I'm not quite sure. At the halfway point, some stuff is set into motion where I'm not quite sure how it will be developed in the book. But for that first half, I would say it is much more static. We are in one of the Karinas. We are learning more about the fate of those people, about the magic, kind of about the secrets in the magic. So yeah, it is definitely slower paced and it is a bit of a transition kind of from the first book to the second book. I don't want to say that this is necessarily a bad thing. It's just something, you know, that can be a little bit jarring when you read it like all in one go and you have this shift in pace between the books. So I'm still super intrigued to see where the rest of this goes. I think also I was missing a little bit of more character development in the first half of the second book. The characters really have to deal with some things because of what happened in the first book, and I don't know if I'm really seeing the development that I want, like not in the first half at least. Everyone is still very much within their like mindset and the changes are coming in more slowly, I guess. So I'm intrigued to see how this second book will wrap up, but I just wanted to say that, you know, some things are a little bit different than in the first book and I'm still liking it, but also I think some things in the first book were just so fun that it's hard to duplicate that in the second book again. So we'll see how that ends. I'll definitely let you know. However, I don't think I will finish the book before this month is over. And that's fine by me. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I have a ton of stuff to do, so I better get to it. Today is the 1st of June. Happy Pride Month, and also we have come to the end of this vlog. So let me tell you how this last reading weekend went. I'm now halfway into the 100 Years War on Palestine. I tried to finish this one, but I gotta be honest, I'm having very high stress levels right now because of a lot of things that are going on in my life. And so I just didn't have the mental capacity that this book deserves and that my brain just needs to process what's in here. So in the end, I decided to be kind to myself and this book and not forcing reading it right now. It is a little bit sad because this was the book for the last prompt for the Asian Readathon, so I did not quite finish that, but it is alright. I will still finish this book in time, but just not in May, and I think that is alright. There is so much in here. The second chapter deals with the part of the story that is directly after the Second World War, when Israel was kind of founded. And then the third chapter that I also read deals with the 1960s mostly. So the history in this is just it's rough, you guys. And this is a book where I feel like all my hope and my belief in humanity being drained out of me. If this was like a fictional story, I would say it's just too hopeless. It just makes me so depressed that I don't actually enjoy it. But sadly, this is real history, and so this criticism is stupid, obviously, but it still means that I have to take it a little bit more slowly. And also, as I said, there's just so much in here. And yesterday, when I was trying to force myself to read this, I realized that I would read a paragraph and I had only thought about how many more pages I had and not what was put in the paragraph as information. So that was when I realized, that doesn't make any sense. I need to actually read the book and not just read the book, if you know what I mean. So this will stay on the TBR for now. I don't think I will be able to finish it before I leave for my trip, because it's only today and tomorrow really, and I still have half of the book to go. So this will be a June problem now. And then for my audiobook, Flight of the Fallen, I remembered the title for once. I am now also about 2/3 of the way through. I think even 70%. So I'm definitely in the last couple of hours now, and things are picking up. There are some developments where I'm very excited to see where things will go. It still feels a little bit slower, but things are heating up, if you know what I mean. Like, I definitely want to know how this will conclude, as there isn't really that much left of the story, and it feels like there is still so much left to explore in this world. So we will see. I'm very excited to listen to the rest of this, and I can definitely recommend this duology if you like fast-paced fantasy that has this like Mad Max feel to it. And then one last thing I wanted to mention that I think I haven't mentioned before, both this book and The Salt Grows Heavy that I read and talked about in my last clip, I got as gifts from my friend Clio, so I will link her channel down below. And yeah, it was kind of funny that I had both of these on my May TBR. I didn't really realize that until I did. And yeah, those were like very thoughtful gifts. Great books. Very happy about that. And then also, as I said, my stress levels currently are a little bit high, and one of the reasons, but like a good reason, like positive kinds of stress, is that yesterday I also participated the first time in live reading sprints. They were on the channel of my friend Daniela. I will link that down below as well. It was very fun. You can go and watch it back if you want to. I felt a little bit self-conscious about doing live because, yeah, I don't know. I'm not like a very great person with like social stuff, but I think it went really well. I only stayed for the beginning before like too many other people showed up and I got overwhelmed. But I had a fantastic time, and Daniela was celebrating 1,000 subscribers, so congrats to her again as well, and I hope you go and check her channel out. I think with that I can let you go. As I said before, if you enjoy travel and books together, feel free to subscribe, because in June I will be traveling and I will be reading, so the next vlog should be very fun. I'm very excited about it. I hope you had a lovely May. Let me know, did you finish all of the 5 prompts for the Asian Readathon? Even though I only finished 4 officially, I still feel like I read a good bunch of books, and my wrap up for that will be up shortly. Yeah, let me know how it went for you, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye!